今天我哋題目是 What is discipleship?
Our sermon topic for this morning is what is discipleship?
What is discipleship? 門徒訓練實在是什麼？
What is true discipleship?
你嚟過進嚟聖經約翰福音第1章49、42節。
Let's look at John chapter 1 verses 40 to 42.
你嚟實教特，我幫你實教特英文 all right？ 你實教
Shall we all rise?
Yeah, all right. Okay， 有啲 exercise 啊。Read all together in English. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, was one of the two who had heard what John had said and who had followed Jesus. The first thing Andrew did was to find his brother Simon and tell him, "We have found the Messiah, that is the Christ." And he brought him to Jesus. Jesus looked at him and said, "You are Simon, son of John. You will be called Cephas, which was translated is Peter." Thank you. Take a seat.
Please be seated.
呢段聖經是記載彼得頭一擺及耶穌三度嘅時陣。
In this passage, it was recorded the first meeting between Jesus and Peter.
聖經講耶穌 look at him， 看到伊。
And it was said here that Jesus looked at him.
即個英文是 look at him，
In English, we take note of the phrase looked at
是
him.
非常注意看，
It was paying close
唔
attention.
是普通看。
It wasn't just a casual
對
glance.
頭看落去，對腳看起頭。
Jesus was observing him from head to toe.
After this，
After this,
耶穌講一句話
Jesus said,
：You are Simon, the son of John, and you will be called Cephas. It translated is Peter.
and after which Jesus said to him, "You are Simon, son of John. You will be called Cephas," which when translated is Peter.
You are and you will.
There are two phrases that we have to take note here is you are and you will.
Now you are Simon, but you will become Peter.
Right now you are Simon, but you will become Peter.
這叫什麼？
What does this mean?
這個就係生命嘅變化。
This is the life
什
transformation.
麼係 discipleship？
What is discipleship?
係 life transformation。
It is life transformation.
我將來是另外一個人，叫做 transformation。
What I am and what I will become in the future is a life transformation.
Simon 嘅意思是聽到，
Simon means is to hear,
彼得嘅意思是 rock 石頭嘅意思。
while Peter means rock.
耶穌講彼得啊，Simon啊，你要變做一個石頭。
Jesus was saying, Simon, you will become a rock.
你講喺加拉太書第2章第9節。
If you are to look at Galatians chapter 2 verse 9,
我知啊，所需要我嘅恩典，這稱做教會嘅石頭，教會嘅調著嘅雅各，寫法就是 Peter 及約翰及講及巴拿巴用多少嘅相交之呢？叫咱外邦人所在去，咱就受隔離嘅人去得所在去。
James, Cephas, and John, those esteemed as pillars, gave me and Barnabas the right hand of fellowship. When they recognized the grace given to me, they agreed that we should go to the Gentiles and they to the circumcised.
經過20年以後，
After 20 years,
彼得實在就係做教會嘅石頭。
Peter became a pillar of the church.
對 John chapter 1到 Galatians chapter 2 20年中間，彼得做咗什麼大事？
From John chapter 1 to Galatians chapter 2, there were 20 years. And what did Peter do during those 20 years?
為什麼彼得變咗一個石頭？
How come Peter was transformed to the
而且
pillar?
20年嘅裏面，
In these 20 years,
彼得做咗 discipleship 嘅大事。
Peter was involved in discipleship.
彼得若冇對 discipleship 嘅工作
If Peter were not involved in discipleship,
，Simon 英文是 Simon。
he will always remain a Simon.
正在基督徒先做10年、20年，英文會改變，
A lot of Christians, they remain as they were for so many years
因為咱唔捌做 discipleship 嘅工作，
because they have never done any discipleship work.
咱嘅生命 never ever change。
They never change in their life.
discipleship 是非常重要嘅大事。
Discipleship is very important.
彼得跟啲耶穌3年嘅時間，
Peter followed Jesus for 3 years.
耶穌是彼得嘅 disciple， 一個耶穌嘅導師。
Jesus was the discipler of Peter,
彼得是耶穌嘅學生，
and he was his disciple.
你跟啲耶穌3年嘅時間，
He followed Jesus around for 3 years.
3年以後，
After 3 years,
耶穌定十字架，耶穌復活，耶穌升天。
Jesus was crucified, he died on the cross, he rose again, and he he ascended to heaven.
彼得就查做教會嘅領袖，
Peter became the leader of the
但係
church.
彼得冇停止 discipleship 嘅工作，
But Peter didn't stop the discipleship work.
而繼續教導別人做主嘅門徒。
He continued to become a discipler of the disciples or the people in the church.
耶穌嘅學生呢個做 apostle，
We call the disciples of Jesus as apostles.
使徒，
We call them apostles.
啲使徒嘅學生叫做教父 church father。
But the apostles' students are called church leaders.
可見彼得冇停止 discipleship 嘅工
So
作
it。just shows that Peter didn't stop the work of discipleship.
上帝叫上帝幫襯人，
May the Lord help us.
教會門對跌落。
Where lies the problem of the
現在
church?
教會領袖唔不經過真正 discipleship 嘅 training，
A lot of church leaders have never went through or gone through discipleship training.
個教會產生真在嘅門對，真在嘅環境，真在嘅紛爭。
That's why there are so much divisiveness inside the church,
特別咱做領袖嘅人，
especially for those who are leaders.
咱嗱做咱是教會 leader，we are the leader of the
We
church。
think that we are the leaders of the church.
管教會嘅管理當中嘅教會嘅弟子，我是教會嘅頭，
So we feel that we are the head of the church. We are here to manage the church.
用家嘅辦法，用家嘅思想嚟管理教會。
We do it our way. We use our own methods.
結果咧，
At the end,
教會是哪嚟哪亂，
the church becomes more and more divisive
因為領袖唔是 disciple of
because
Jesus。
the leaders are not disciples of Jesus.
咱也在信追這個 discipleship 嘅真最錯誤嘅觀念 misconception。
Many times we have this wrong concept of what discipleship truly
原
is.
來我矛呢就係 what is true discipleship。
And we like to show you what true discipleship is.
咱對 discipleship 裏面，咱有個真正多嘅 misconception。
There are 5 big misconceptions that we have about discipleship.
咁啊，咱將這個嘅 misconception 比較當中讀起嚟，
So that we'll show it to you today so that we can remove it from our mind.
呢個就係什麼叫做 true discipleship。
And from it we can derive what true discipleship
Number
truly
one.
is. The first,
真正咱講嘅 discipleship 是家己發生嘅代志
many feel that discipleship will automatically happen.
，automatically。你唔免創代志 ，automatically become a disciple of Jesus。
You don't have to do anything, you will automatically become a disciple of Jesus.
No, it's wrong。
That is wrong.
Rick Warren 講一句話，
Rick Warren once said,
你講生命自然家己長大，
life will mature by itself.
這是非常合理嘅代志。
This is something quite reasonable.
咱無需要叫你嘅囡仔大漢，
We don't need to tell our child to grow up
你自然大漢，
because they will naturally
你
grow
若
up.
健康就 OK 啦。
If they're healthy, then they're good.
我嘅囝已經比較較大漢咯
My son is taller than me.
忽然間很大漢
He
咯，
suddenly became very tall.
這是生命嘅大漢。
This is the process or the growth of life.
但是屬靈嘅生命無生，
But spiritual growth, spiritual life is different.
屬靈嘅生命會家己長大。
Spiritual life does not grow by itself.
Discipleship 嚟個路尾嘅 destination 是什麼
What is the ultimate destination of discipleship?
？Christ likeness。
It is to become like Christ.
你及耶穌哪來哪前朝？
You will become more and more like
而
Christ.
這個是一個 process，一個過程，
This is a process.
冇可能家己嘅發生。
It will not happen by itself.
You need to do something。
And you need to do something.
差不多30年前，這個 UECP 嘅主理牧師 Reverend Stephen 關講一句話。
About 30 years ago, the then resident senior pastor of UECP, Reverend Stephen Kwan, said,
呢個真罪基督徒，但無親像基督。
a lot of Christians are not like Christ in so many ways.
只有一項物件，只實在真在親像耶穌。
But there's one point that makes them like Christ.
你講耶穌永遠未改變，咱係永遠冇必改變。
Jesus never changes, and we too never change.
耶穌冇需要改變，
Because there's no need for Jesus
因
to
為耶穌
change.
已經 perfect。
Because he is perfect.
耶穌未哪變哪好，
He will not become any better.
因為已經真好。
Because he's the ultimate
但是
perfect.
咱唔是，
But we are not like
咱
that.
是 Christian，we are children of God。
We are children of God. We
咱
are
嘅生命
Christians.
需要繼續進步，繼續進步，繼續進步
And。there's a need for progress or growth in our life.
叫上帝幫助咱。
May the Lord help
聖
us.
講咱是 renew day by day，
We
特
need-
日特日嘅更新。
We need to be renewed daily.
你知有一擺當教會即個 screening 咱嘅 candidate 嘅時陣，
One time when we were screening the candidates for the deacons in the church,
咱提到一個人，
we brought out a name.
忽然間我一個同工起來講話，
And among us, one of our co-deacons spoke.
伊講這個候選人及我嘅厝內親人，我阿兄阿人，我阿嫂啦，真正萬大石。
This candidate is very close to my brother and my sister-in-law.
伊講我阿嫂講一句話，
And my sister-in-law told me,
伊講這個人啊，
said this person,
頂擺是及你哎呀，殺及話溝啉酒，話溝哎呀。
he used to go out and drink with your brother. He used to go out and do a lot of things with your brother.
伊講等於信主以後，
But after he became a Christian,
看到伊嘅改變就完全無生氣。
there was a complete transformation. He became like a different person.
伊講實在未 unbelief 未相信變做安尼款嘅人。
She cannot believe such a transformation can take place.
而且我聽到一句話，
After hearing this,
我現在是真正問題歡喜。
I felt so happy.
這個叫 Christianity，
This is maturity in his Christian
叫
life.
上帝幫襯咱。
May the Lord help
咱嘅
us.
生命需要改變，需要繼續改變。
There's a need for a change, and there's a continual need for us to grow in our Christian life.
Discipleship 是一個 process，一個過程，
Discipleship is a process.
因為 automatically 發生。
It does not happen automatically.
Disciple 是一個無信主人，信仰所變做信主嘅人。
It's from an unbeliever to becoming a believer,
一個信主人變做一個屬靈嘅囡仔，
and from a believer to become a spiritual child,
一個 child 變做一個 spiritual adult，adult
from a spiritual child to become a spiritual adult,
變做 spiritual parents。
and from a spiritual adult to become a spiritual parent.
這個 parents 要重新試一個囡仔出嚟
And that-
，make disciple。
And that parent will bear fruit and bear child to make new disciples.
這是一個 process。
This is a
你
process.
看咪？
Look at
你
yourself.
信主幾年咯？
How long have you become a
你係
Christian?
一個 spiritual baby、spiritual child、spiritual adult or spiritual parents？
Are you a spiritual child? Are you a spiritual baby child, parent, adult, or parent?
即係你自己知啊！
You know,
你嘅 life 屬你嘅生命會進步喎。
are you growing in your life?
唔得我講，牧師我信咗30年啦，so what？
Don't tell me that, Pastor, I've been a Christian for 30 years. So what?
你睇這段嘅聖經，
Look at this passage.
我唔會你解釋這段嘅聖經，
I will not explain it to you,
但是我哋就係講戰堂嘅弟子
but。I like to show you something important.
書道約翰寫何教會？
It was what Apostle John wrote to the church.
你可以 adjust to 什麼款嘅人
To whom did he address this?
？Number one，你講 I writing to you father，
He was writing to the fathers,
你講I writing to you young man。
to the young men,
I'm writing to you children。
and to the children.
喺這間教會嘅裏面，
Inside the church,
有人親像老爸，
there are people who are like fathers,
有人是少年嘅，
and there are people who are young men,
有人是囡仔。
and there are those who are
喺
children.
這間教會裏面，
Inside the church,
有人嘅屬靈嘅生命還無相關嘅成熟，
there are different levels of maturity in the Christian life.
唔是講囡仔無好，
It's not saying that being a child isn't good.
每個人都經過囡仔嘅時陣，
Everybody has to go through a period of
唔是
childhood.
講 young man 無好，
It's not saying that being a young man
每
isn't
個人
good.
經過 young man 嘅點
Because
證，
we have to go through that
唔是講
period.
father 是第好，
We're not saying that being a father is the best.
這是屬靈嘅生命嘅成熟嘅階段。
Because this is the process of maturity in the Christian life.
但是咱唔做到一生都是 children，
But we cannot remain as a child forever
一生都是 young man。
or remain as a young man forever.
咱需要慢慢進步 become a spiritual parents。
We need to grow to a level that we become a spiritual parent.
問你自己，
We have to ask ourselves,
你是什麼？
what are you right now?
你是囡仔？
Are you a
你
child?
是 young man？
Are you a young man?
Are you a parents？
Or are you a parent?
你問你隔壁人，
You have to ask those seated beside you,
你是什麼啊？
what are you?
我問你，
Ask the people
Sabi-
beside you, what are you?
你咧？你問你咧？
And then you ask them back, how about you?
咱需要進步。
We need to improve.
你頭上 number one discipleship 唔是 automatically happen。
So remember, discipleship does not happen automatically.
You need to do something.
You need to do something.
Number two,
Number two,
discipleship happens when we attend church services.
discipleship happens when we attend church
這
services.
是第二個 wrong and misconception。
This is the second fallacy.
跟下咧，什麼是參加教會聚會咧？
What does it mean to join church
有人
services?
相信 disciple 就是參加教會聚會嘛？
Because there are people who believe that by attending church service, they are a
參加主日
disciple.
崇拜，
They join worship
我
service.
參加 small group，
They are part of a small group.
我參加 Bible study group，
I'm a part of
我
Bible
參
study
加
group.
詩班，
I'm a part of the
我
choir.
參加 worship team，
I'm part of the worship team.
and I will become a disciple of Jesus.
Then I will become a disciple of Jesus.
No, 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 no.
It doesn't
No,
happen
no,
that
no,
way.
no, no. 參加聚會無代表你是 disciple of Jesus。
Just because you're attending services doesn't necessarily mean you are a disciple of
如
Christ.
果我哋嘅戰爭出面嘅教會叫做 Willow Creek Community Church，
There's a very famous church in the United States called the Willow Creek Community
佢嘅
Church.
牧師是 Bill Hybels。
Their senior pastor is Reverend Bill Hybels.
2007，而出一個戰爭當中嘅一個 statement，一個 statement，
In the year 2007, he made this very important statement.
佢講 We make a mistake。
He said that we made a mistake.
一個很好嘅教會講 We make a mistake。
This is a very established church, and they admitted that they made a mistake.
什麼問題呢？
What was the mistake?
你講，咱相信參加聚會一個非常重要嘅代志。咱相信哪罪人參加無相關嘅聚會，參加聚會嘅次數哪來哪最嘅時陣，咱就產生主耶穌基督嘅門徒。
Participation is a big deal. We believe that more people participating in these sets of activities with higher levels of frequency, it will produce disciples of Christ.
這是咱嘅想法，
That is the way we think.
人熱心
We think that because they are mature, they are
參加
attending
真
church,
聚會。
because they are joining so many
They
services,
become the disciple of Jesus。
that they naturally must be disciples of
而家
Jesus.
經過20年嘅工作以後，
After 20 years,
佢做一個真正詳細嘅 survey。
and he made a survey.
佢講啲研究指出，增加真聚嘅無相關嘅聚會，會保證參加人就變咗更加成熟嘅門徒，因為聚會會好這個人保證更加聽上帝，更加聽人。
Instead, the research reveals increasing the levels of participation in these sets of activities doesn't predict whether someone's becoming more of a disciple of Christ. It does not predict whether they love God more or they love people more.
Yes or no？你參加聚會，咁代表你真聽主；
Just because you're attending service, does it mean that you truly love the Lord?
你參加聚會，咁代表你真聽人。
Does it mean that by attending service you become a lover of other people?
我唔知見你入嚟嘅時陣，
I don't know when you enter this church,
有拄到一個你無愛拄到嘅人冇？
did you meet somebody whom you do not want to meet?
有冇有冇？
Did you?
咱真夠記啊，記啊無看到。
We are good in pretending that we never saw that person.
所以聚會唔代表你哋個聽上帝，個聽人。
So just by attending services doesn't represent your love for God or for other people.
喺度講 ，we make a mistake。
Hybel confessed that they made a mistake.
你應該開始教會眾講，教導會眾，呢度為家己負家己責任，家己為家己供給家己需要，叫做 self-feeders。
We should have started telling people and teaching people that they have to take responsibility to become self-feeders.
咱就好會眾知影，教導咱嘅會眾，即係哋崇拜及崇拜中間，讀家己嘅聖經，啲崇拜及崇拜中間，就積極經營屬靈嘅操練。
We should have gotten people and taught people how to read their Bible in between services, how to do spiritual practice, and much more aggressively on their own.
你注意講什麼 ？How to read their Bible between services.
How to read their Bible between services.
How to do the spiritual practices much more.
And how to do the spiritual practices much more aggressively.
什麼意思呢？
What does this mean?
今日咧崇拜及下禮拜中間這6日，咱創啥代志？
In between the service today and the service next week, in the 6 days in between, what are you doing?
咱就好 back to the basics，好讀家嘅聖經，對佢屬靈嘅生命嘅操練噃。
Do we go back to the basic? Do we apply Christian discipline in our lives?
唔單止靠拜啲牧師講道，
We shouldn't just rely on the sermon on Sundays.
冇夠。
It's not enough.
我只係講一項代志。
I often like to say this.
點解我衰人見啦？我衰人嘅時陣，
When I was young,
你不一人沙氣嘅時陣 ，two or three years
when I
old，
was 2 or 3 years
我
old,
親目看到，我親目看到。
I witnessed for myself.
我老母是安尼，別個老母也是安尼。
I saw my own mom and I saw other mom doing it.
你做饲囡仔呢？
How do they feed their child?
你囡仔人細到食麥咯個，
Because 2 or 3 years old, they were eating meat
但係驚囡仔袂曉播麥，
that the child couldn't chew on their
我
own.
親目看到。
So I saw this for myself.
老母將嘢麥放喺家己嘴裡面，
The mom would place the meat in their mouth.
播了以後，
After chewing, they would spit it out
食，
and give it to the child.
是唔是呢？
Is it true?
暗浸食，暗浸背，
So you eat whatever and you get healthy that way.
你愛不？
Do you want to do that?
咦，暗浸要必死！
You find it a bit disgusting.
我跟你講，
But I tell you,
你若 Monday to Friday 無俾讀聖經
if you refuse to study the Bible Monday to Friday
，Sunday 聽我講道，
and just listen to the sermon on Sundays,
你知無？You are doing the same thing.
you're just doing the same thing.
Open mouth.
You're just eating what I have already chewed.
It's the same.
It's the same thing.
咱個學習家己飼你家己去食，
We need to learn how to feed ourselves.
這是咱應該真正注意嘅代志。
This is something that we need to take note of and to pay attention
你
to.
記得一句話：
Remember one thing.
散會比聚會更加重要。
The time after the service is much more important than the service itself.
你若未相信，
If you don't believe me,
今日你冇俾散會，
I refuse to end the service
我
today.
講到10點半，
I will speak until
講
10:30
到11點，
or speak to
講
11
到11點半，
or 11:30
講到12點，
or 12.
你就知啊，牧師掛緊散會，掛緊。
And you'd probably tell me, please hurry up, Pastor.
散會比聚會更加重要。
So you place much more importance after service than the service itself.
你明白為什麼咱要聚會？
You have to understand why we meet in church.
聚會喺這個所在，大家敬拜上帝，
Because we meet together to worship the Lord together.
好得到上帝祝福、上帝嘅幫助、
So that we will be blessed by the Lord and so we can help
上
other
帝嘅
people.
教導，
We can receive the teachings
我
of
哋
the
嘅生
Lord.
命都要重新嘅挑戰、重新嘅鼓勵。
That we will be renewed in our challenge. We will be renewed in
真係
being encouraged in the
這個
Lord.
cell phone
Just like a cell phone.
冇電咯，
If there's no battery in
你
it,
嘅 recharge。
we have to recharge it.
After recharge 以後，
After recharging
你
it,
繼續繼續講，
we continue working.
這個是聚會嘅原因。
This is the reason why we
有
meet
一
in
擺我去
service.
一間教會講道，
One time I went to a church to preach.
我入嚟嘅時陣
When
冇
I
看到
entered the
什麼物
church,
件，
I didn't see anything.
但我講道出去嘅時陣，
After the service, I was going out.
我咧有一個牌，
There was a sign there.
入嚟未看到，出去就看到。
If you come in, you will not see it, but you can see it when you go out.
我感覺真真有意思。
And I find it very
佢
meaningful.
講 Now we enter the mission field。
He said, now we enter the mission
哎，我覺得
field.
真真有意思。
And I felt that it was quite
聚會
meaningful.
了以後
After the service,
，recharge 以後
after being recharged,
，Now we enter the mission
we enter
field。
the mission field.
出去為主追更嘅啦，
We go out and do God's work.
為主追見證嘅啦。
We witness for the Lord.
所以散會比聚會更加重要。
So that's why after service is much more important than the service itself.
叫小幫襯呢個教會
May the Lord help our church.
discipleship，唔
Discipleship
是發生喺聚會嘅中
It
間。
doesn't happen during church service.
discipleship
Discipleship,
是發生喺日常生活嘅裡面。
it happens during our daily lives.
所以第二個 concept。
The second wrong concept.
第三，
The third,
咱講嘅 discipleship 是為什麼人呢 ？New believers。
we believe that discipleship is only for the new believers,
新主嘅啦。
for those who are new in the faith.
哎呀，我信主10年咯誒，
I've been a believer for the past 10 years,
20年咯
for
誒，
the past 20 years,
30年咯
or the
誒。
past 30
哎呀，我是
years.
教會接觸咯
I'm a
誒，
deacon in the church.
我但係知，
I know all things.
我都冇解明 discipleship 嘅
I
啊
don't。need discipleship.
You're wrong.
You are wrong,
You're totally wrong.
and you are absolutely
你
wrong.
睇下屬靈嘅生命及肉體嘅生命分別得落。
Where lies the difference between our physical life and our spiritual life?
咱嘅肉體嘅生命是老來老，
Our physical life grows older and older.
無人老來老少年。
Nobody becomes younger.
咱唯一有通創是你嘅將這個老這個呢個 aging 嘅時間拖較慢淡薄，
What we can do probably is just to delay the aging process.
較做休息，
We rest more,
較做運動，
we exercise more,
食較健康嘅食物，
we eat healthy food,
較做歡喜，
we smile more,
唔通對你要求，
we don't frown that often.
你嘅 aging 係較慢淡薄。
Then your aging process will slow down a bit.
50歲親像30個歲，
You're 50, but you look 35.
30個嘅親像20嘅。
You're 35, but you look 20.
Hopefully， 但是也是慢慢較老。
But you still remain old.
冇可能嗱少年。
You do not become younger.
你嗱已經80嘅。
If you're 80 years old,
哇！你親像18嘅。
somebody approach you and tell you, you look like you're 18.
請你唔通相信。
You don't believe that person.
嗱，有人講你親像18嘅，這個的確是歹人。
If somebody approaches you, you're 80 and tells you that you look like 18, that probably is a bad person.
佢可能有歹嘅 motive。
Probably has a bad motive.
佢可能是愛你嘅錢。
Probably needs your money.
哎呦，你哪少年咯。
You look younger.
這個人唔得佢做朋友。
Don't become friends with those kind of people.
騙你啦！
They're just deceiving you.
你騙上啊！
Who are they deceiving?
80嘅你就18嘅妖怪 monster。
Are you a monster that you're 80 but you look 18?
這是咱嘅肉體嘅生命。
This is our physical body. But
注意，
take note.
屬靈嘅生命另外一款。
Our spiritual life, however, is different.
屬靈嘅生命是不進則退。
If it does not grow, then it will regress.
什麼意思呢？
What does this mean?
屬靈嘅生命冇停喺這個所在。
We don't just stop there. Spiritual life doesn't just stop
你講
there.
我已經是 spiritual parents。
You probably say that I'm already a spiritual parent.
Very good.
Very good.
I'm the disciple. Very good.
You're a discipler. That's very good.
Listen，
But you have to listen.
你若停止 discipleship，
But if you stop discipleship,
無去對橋，無去學習，
if you don't pursue it, you don't continue
無
in
去
it,
幫襯別人
you
做
don't help
disciple，
other people, you don't disciple other people,
你係不力見 spiritual adult。
you become a spiritual adult.
你若冇繼續落去，
If you don't continue,
你叫做 spiritual children。
you become a spiritual child.
佢哋自我中心 self-centered，
You'll become very self-centered
真 proud，真隻驕。
and very prideful.
Everybody with the discipleship，
Everybody needs discipleship.
你講緊有可能？
You said, is it possible?
耶穌講一個比喻，
Jesus gave an example.
葡萄行橄欖嘅比喻。
Inside the vineyard, the workers in the vineyard,
簡單嚟講，這個 master 是無償點正叫人去作事。
and Jesus said that the masters employed people at different times of the day to work there.
大家人講好價價一日一箍，
And everybody was promised 1 denarii per day.
頭一嚟是9點透早去作事，
The first batch went to work 9 in the morning,
第二是 lunch 12點鐘去作事，
and the second group reported to work 12 noon.
第三不是3點去作事，
And the third batch went in at 3 p.m.
後尾是5點去作事啱播咯
And，the last group went in at 5 p.m.
6點所現金，
6 p.m. they gave out the salary.
哇，最1點鐘嘅一箍，
Those who worked for 1 hour, they still receive 1
最
denarii.
12點鐘嘅一箍。
Those who worked 12 hours, they also received 1
你
denarii.
講未行啲，
And they probably complained it's unfair.
你最1點鐘，我最12點鐘上機卡，
You work for 1 hour, I work for 12 hours, but we get paid the same.
賣運。
When we complain,
做人講一句話，
the master said,
只是乖嘅，
money is mine.
已經講好機卡咯。
We already had an agreement.
我何人較追，減咪追吧。
If I give somebody more, can you hold that against
耶
me?
穌就講一句話，
Jesus said,
即個啲後來嘅變做啲頭前，啲頭前嘅變做啲後邊。
the first will be the last, and the last will be the first.
教會啊，咱常常都 commit the same mistake，
We often commit the same mistake.
真愛及別人比較。
We like to compare ourselves with other
跟係
people.
呀，你跟係我，你跟係，
And we say, how come he's like that and how come I'm like this?
比較只證明一項代志。
By comparing, it just proves one thing.
You are spiritual children.
You're a spiritual child.
You are not the parents.
You're not a parent
你
yet.
講最父母嘅人，
As a parent,
父母減及囡仔比較，
do you compare yourself with a child?
你問老母，
You ask your mom.
嗱三個食嘅時陣，
When you eat together,
嗱冇夠菜。
if there's not enough
一
dish,
隻龜，只有一隻龜，
there's only 1 dish of chicken there,
老母食什麼？
what will the mom eat?
老母食骨頭，
The mom will just pick on the bones.
會啊會啊！
Is it true or
我
not?
雖然看到我老母總是食骨頭，
And when I was younger, I saw my mom just pick on the bones.
我老母只講一句話：
My mom just said one thing.
我愛食骨頭。
I like to eat the bones.
我拿住會啊吧，
I thought it was true.
就當中骨頭嘛，隻骨頭咧。
So every time I gave the bones to my mom,
等我大漢，
when I was older,
我就有 this is another story。
I know the story behind it
伊聽見啦，
because she loves us.
伊唔會及見啦比較。
So that's why she does not compete or compare with the child.
特擺佢推是你啦，特擺是你啦，
And oftentimes the meaty part will be given to the child
聽伊啊，
because they love the child.
很簡單嘅。
It's that simple.
屬靈嘅生命是安尼。
Spiritual life is like
你若
that.
是 spiritual parents，
If you're a spiritual
你
parent,
哋個人比較。
you will not compare
但是你
yourself
若
with
冇
other
繼續
people.
對橋落去
But if you do not pursue or seek
，be
improvement,
careful, be careful.
we need to be
The
careful.
first will be the last, and the last will be the first.
The first will be the last, and the last will be the first.
保羅寫俾哥林多教會講一句真正更可是咩話？
When Paul wrote to the church in Corinth, he was very sad.
你仍然是屬肉體嘅，
You are still worldly.
呢個 worldly 就是 spiritual infant。
You're still spiritual infant.
你要注意這個英文 ，you are still 係冇字，你仍然是
In English, you take note the word still. You are still.
什麼意思呢？
What does this mean?
你唔應該是，
You shouldn't remain
你
so.
應該大漢咯，
You should have
應
matured.
該是大人咯，
You should have been
應該是
adults.
parents 咯
You should be parents.
，but you're still a baby。
But you're still a baby.
Why？
Why?
真係 jealousy，真係 quarreling among you，
Because there are jealousy and quarreling among you.
因為之前教會冇去對橋，
Because this church did not seek to pursue growth in spiritual life.
因冇 discipleship，
They do not have discipleship.
所以叫上帝幫襯啦。
May the Lord help us.
Discipleship is not just for new believer.
Discipleship is not just for new believers.
Discipleship is for everyone.
Discipleship is for everybody.
冇人得 accepted。
Nobody's exempted.
Number 4，
Number 4,
嗰個 concept
another
都
wrong
話
concept.
相反。
It's the opposite.
Discipleship 是學教會屬靈嘅人啊。
Discipleship is for those who are spiritually mature.
哦領袖就傾明
If
discipleship。
you're leaders, then you should be going through
哦，你是
discipleship
教會牧
training.
師團隊啊，
You're the pastors, you're the
Oh,你是
mission workers,
執事啊。
you're the deacon,
你係小組 leader 啊，
you're the cell group
你是
leader,
worship team 啊，
you're the leader of the
你是
worship
詩
team,
班啊
part of the
哦 you
choir.
need disciple。
Then you need discipleship.
我自己普通嘅信徒阿 layman，
I'm just a lay person.
我是阿媽，
I'm a grandmother.
阿媽，我是 housewife 啊
I'm，just a housewife.
我叫 discipleship 我都未曉啊。
Why do I need to go through discipleship? I don't know anything
我
about
問你
it.
一個問題，
I ask you one thing.
你愛你邊頭嘅人，
You look at a person beside you,
你嘅丈夫，
your husband,
你嘅太太，
your wife,
你嘅家兒，
your child, your
你嘅
children,
孫，
your grandchildren.
每一個人拿來拿去像基督噃。
Are they becoming more and more like Christ?
你嚟講 yes，the
If you say yes,
same。
it's the same.
伊愛看到伊阿媽拿來拿去像基督。
You want to see your grandmother becoming more and more like Christ?
Yes or no？
Yes or no?
Yes。
Of course.
咱每一個人 more like Christ。
We want to see everybody to become more and more Christ-like.
我問一個問題，
I'd like to ask another question.
你愛有一日，
You want to, one day
你嘅家甲你講，
your child will tell you,
你嘅孫甲你講，
your grandchildren will
你
tell
嘅
you,
親戚甲你講，
your spouse will tell you,
你是在變另外一個人啦，
you have become another person.
你變也罪，
You've changed a lot.
你愛無？
You want to hear that?
叫做 discipleship。
Then you need to do discipleship.
你知有一間教人創面嘅 facial，
There was a facial center,
創 surgery，
and
facial
they were performing facial surgery,
伊創一個真正出名嘅廣告
and，they have this very unique slogan.
真出名。
It's very
你
unique.
睇這個廣告啊！
Just look at this.
千萬不要挑刺從我們美容院出去的美女，因為她可能是你的祖母啊！
Please don't flirt with the beautiful women who comes out of our beauty parlor because she could be your grandma.
我感覺真係真出名。
I find this to be very
什麼意思啊？
interesting. What does this mean?
你講這個哇，真水嘅查某囝就夾出
You
嚟，
see this beautiful lady that comes out of our parlor, and then we whistle,
你講死順啊，我是你阿媽啦。
And probably she'll scold you. Why are you doing that? I'm your grandmother.
什麼意思啊？
What does this mean?
哇！即係真成功啊，裝一轉成功啊。
Because the surgery was very successful. She became another person, so
阿媽
beautiful.
阿媽變咗一個戰爭問題，所以就我驚。
That grandmother became a very, very beautiful person.
但係我笑就行第字。
That the more I think about it,
Discipleship is a life transformation。
discipleship is life transformation.
當然啦，唔是話溝邊一戰，可能唔是話溝邊一戰爭問題。
Of course, it doesn't mean that we change our physical being or outward appearance.
但是你裡面嗱衰咁先，
But our inward being is being renewed and it's being transformed.
你戰自私變咗學習社機咯。
Those who are selfish becomes
你
sacrificial.
戰夠彎刀，你有欠商人咯。
Those who are envious becomes appreciative.
你戰夠書記，先得變咗戰良
We
善
turn
咯。
hatred into kindness.
你戰有貴，人哋戰慷慨咯。
Those who are stingy becomes generous.
叫做 transformation。
That is transformation.
你係喎，
You like that?
所以 discipleship
So discipleship,
唔是為 new believers。
it's not for new believers.
discipleship
Discipleship,
唔是 for 我哋叫做 mature Christians。
it's not for those who are spiritually mature.
discipleship
Discipleship
is for everyone。
is for everyone.
The last
The last one,
discipleship 是一個課程，是一個聚會，
you often think that it's just a course or a church meeting.
這是第二個
This
misconception。
is the fifth wrong concept.
discipleship 唔是一個課程，唔是一個聚會。
Discipleship is not just a course, nor is it just a church meeting.
雖然咱有 course，雖然咱有 meeting，
Of course, we have a course for it, we meet for it.
也就是咱真正人睇到 discipleship，所以這個 react
Many times when we hear about discipleship, we react.
冇點正。
We say, I don't have time.
Sorry，
I'm sorry,
I'm no time。
I have no time.
咁啊，
Why?
我也做聚會咯啊。
I have so many church activities.
Sunday worship、
Sunday worship,
small group、
small group,
choir，
the choir.
嗰個咩啊？精彩咯，worship team 哦。
Where I'm part of the worship team also.
我也做 meeting 咯。
I have so many meetings.
How can 我記這個 discipleship？
I cannot add one more to it.
Because we think discipleship is a course, discipleship is a meeting。
Because the way you think that discipleship is just a course, it's just a meeting.
真最 choice 喺這個所在。
It's like there are so many choices for you to choose.
Sorry，
Sorry,
我無法 discipleship，
I cannot join
因
discipleship
為我已經參加咗真最 meeting。
because I've already joined so many other meetings.
No，
No,
you're wrong。
you are wrong.
discipleship 咱有 course，
Of course, we have a course for it,
但是伊唔是這個 course。
but it's not merely just a course.
discipleship 咱有 meeting，
We meet for
但
discipleship,
這個 discipleship 唔是這個 meeting。
but it's not just merely a meeting.
你講 discipleship 是什麼啊
Then what is discipleship?
？discipleship 是學生及先師嘅關係。
Discipleship is the relationship between the student and the teacher.
1960年代，
During the 1960s,
真侪人無在調讀冊。
a lot of people do not have the capability for education.
香港是安尼，我相信菲律賓也是安尼。
In Hong Kong, it was like that, and I believe that in the Philippines, it was also like
因
that.
為迄陣全世界經濟都唔是真好，
Because during that time, the world was suffering financially.
小學畢業已經真袂歹咯。
If you graduate from elementary, you're quite good
嗱，我
already.
當讀 high school
If you can study high school,
very good，
then you're very good.
讀到 college the
Can-
best of the best。
If you can finish college, then you're the best among the
真
best.
侪人中學都無通讀
A lot of people do not have the capability to study in high school.
，after grade school 就去作息。
After grade school, they go to work.
12、13、14嘅見啦，作什麼事啊？
From 12 to 14 years old, what kind of work can they
你知
engage
做什麼
in?
事不？
You know what they do?
已經係一個先師，
They would
一個
find a
master。
master.
你講我愛學習剪頭毛，
I like to learn how to cut hair.
我就去係一個剪頭毛嘅師傅，拜最師傅
I。would like to see a master in hair cutting, and then I would engage his services to teach me how to cut hair.
甲伊三甲徛，甲伊三甲食，
I would live with that person. I would eat with that person.
根本是做伊嘅工人。
I would become their slave.
伊若有時間，會教你做剪頭毛
If。they have time, they will teach you and take you as apprentice.
要數你 after 3年了，
And after 3 years of
你
apprenticeship,
講 OK，你繼續嚟咯。
they declare you as
你
graduate.
就講拜拜，
They'll say goodbye to you.
假期出去 剪白人嘅頭毛。
And you could go out and employ and seek employment as a hair
你
cutter.
嚟學習修理車
If you like to become an auto mechanic,
，the same。
it's the same
你
process.
擺住嘅師傅，
You go to a mechanic, expert
3年。
mechanic. After 3 years,
第二實個騎實個
you live
車
with that person, you eat with that person,
，learn from him。
and learn from that
啊，第
person.
3年了以後，
After 3
你
years,
畢業咯，
you graduate.
你去修理汽車，
You go out and repair
當
cars.
中都是案例。
Everybody has to go through that
這
process.
叫什麼？
And afterward,
這叫做
what we call
disciple，
this?
這叫做 discipleship。
We call this discipleship.
我哋更加清楚。
This is a more clear illustration.
我真係食香港鐵 white chicken，
I like to eat Hong Kong style white chicken,
但我係工人未好煮，
but my helper at home does not know how to cook it.
所以有咗時我自己去煮。
So oftentimes I will have to cook it by myself.
但是後來我嘅時間嗱冇會啦。
But my time is becoming more and more limited.
Usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday 晏邊我都會做去。
I have services Monday, Wednesday, Friday,
Only Tuesday and Thursday。
and I'm only free on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
有陣有 meeting 都冇時間咯。
Sometimes I have to meet there, and I don't have time.
更加去煮。
So it was difficult for me to find time to
但
cook
係我
it.
自己我咁樣都話一個辦法，
And one day I thought that we have to change methods
就
here.
係我去煮嘅時陣，
So one time when I got home,
我係工人嚟
I called my helper,
，come
come here,
跨家做煮，
observe how I cook this.
對開始到結束，伊無創波行大
From
字，
the beginning till the end of the process, she did not do
我
anything.
創我一塊，
I will just
我做
demonstrate
一塊。
everything, and I would cook everything for that,
我連這個ginger做創都教佢創。
including the making of the ginger sauce.
你去換 chicken 嗰陣時，講你刺石 ginger 又好食哦。
If you eat white chicken, there's this ginger sauce, and I was there teaching, demonstrating how to do it.
頭一擺伊無創波行，
During the first time, she did not do
伊
anything.
講我做煮。
She was just there observing me.
第二擺
The second time,
我個煮，
I would do it when I was cooking
Okay,
it.
like.
I called her.
我兩個三急追，
We do it together.
我創淡薄，伊創淡薄。
I would do a bit, and she would have to do a
啊
bit.
no 唔得唔得唔得，
And I'll say, no, this is wrong.
做第三擺
The third time,
我叫你，
I called her
我
back.
講你煮，
You cook it,
我跨，
and I would just observe
我
you.
無創。
I will not do anything.
但是要問過安尼話，我對，
But she would ask me question. Is
安尼
it
度
right?
騎招吧，對。
Do I have to include this or include that?
第四擺
The，fourth time,
等我都記出來嘅時
when
陣，
I got home,
伊講 pastor，
she said, Pastor,
阿米 white chicken，
tonight we have white chicken.
哇，咁下煮，
And I was so happy
伊煮啊我食，
because she cooked for me.
這個什麼？
What do we call this?
這個 discipleship，
We call this discipleship.
呢個 discipleship 你食咩嚟嚟？
Of course, this is called discipleship in food.
就是安尼很簡單。
But the process is the same. It's that simple.
discipleship 是你關於 invest 你嘅 life 你嘅時間喺別人嘅生命嘅中間。
Discipleship is investing your life, your time in the life of other people.
你關於創一項大事，
You're willing to do one thing,
將你有嘅物件教未曉嘅人，
to teach what you already know to others who don't know.
別人是謙卑唔理學習，
Other people humbly come before you to learn from
呢
you.
叫做 discipleship training。
This is discipleship training.
你是唔係唔當講我冇經驗 discipleship？
You probably don't say in your heart that I don't need discipleship
你講 I
training.
don't like discipleship。
And I don't like discipleship.
You are wrong。
You are wrong.
無論你愛冇愛
Whether you like it or not,
，you are doing discipleship。
you are doing discipleship.
你記住我講一句話，
Remember this.
無論你愛你是冇愛
Whether you like it or not,
，now you are doing discipleship。
you are doing
只
discipleship.
不過你唔是挑工，not intentionally doing discipleship。
But you're not doing it intentionally.
你哋呢個家庭嘅裏面，
In your home,
你做每一項大事
the things that you're doing,
，you are disciple your children，
you're discipling your children.
而跨你做創，
They're observing you.
定未嚟咯，
And when the phone rings,
斜老爸，
they're looking for the father,
講我冇啲啫，
and you tell them I'm not here.
爸爸講佢冇啲下樓，
And they will answer, Father said he's not here.
你有小氣咁先
And you're very angry.
，but at the same time，
But at the same time,
you are teaching your child telling a lie，
you're teaching your child to lie.
你唔知啊，
You just don't know.
阿慣係最安利哦，
And they would say, oh, I can do
誒
this.
俾我就冇愛聽講，我冇啲啫，
And next time, if I don't like to answer, I'll say that I'm not here.
啥解啊？
Who taught you that?
老爸你解嘛
And the father was the one who
You are the
taught
good
him that.
teacher 叫上帝幫真
May the Lord help us.
你唔知咱對囡仔影響是何等嘅大，
You don't know how big the influence that we exert upon our children
領袖，
as leaders.
你唔知你創嘅大事 話人做，話個人做看你。
You don't know the things that you're doing is being observed by other
Cell group
people.
leaders，
Cell group leaders.
你唔知你 member 做看你。
You don't know how your members are observing you.
You are disciple them，
You have to disciple them.
but
But
咱唔是 intentionally。
we're not doing it intentionally.
So I'm sorry，
So I'm sorry.
咱真就留學真真歹嘅 example。
Many times we leave such bad examples for others to see.
I'm sorry to tell you，
I'm sorry to tell you,
你囡仔若有問題，
if your children is facing problems,
你的確有責任。你的確有責任。You are the
you are
responsibility。
responsible for it.
你唔能講你冇責任。
You don't have to say that or wash your hand and say, I'm not part of
你
it.
講嘅話
The things that the words that you're saying,
你創造這辦法。
the things that you're doing
已經漸漸影響你嘅囡仔，
are influencing your child even now.
是你唔知啊，
You just don't know about it
因為你冇 intentional disciple them。
because you're not intentionally discipling your children
Like father
like father,
and like son。
like son.
你看這個 video。
Let's look at this video.